The Impossible Dive. Written by Lynn Mango. Illustrated by Rebecca Joy Plitt. Chapter 1. Level 5. Forever. I sit by the edge of the pool. My fingers hang above the blue water. I rest my chin on my bent knee. I sigh loudly and straighten my back. Mom is standing by the fence, smiling and nodding her head. But about the 10th time, I press the goggles firmly onto my eyes. I'll probably soon have permanent dents around them. The teacher, Jeff, smiles and says, "You can do it, Chris. I know you can. Remember to take a deep, slow breath before you dive. It'll help you relax." Relax? He must be dreaming. I've been sitting here for at least 10 minutes, but it feels more like 10 hours. I love to swim. Going to pool is one of my very favorite activities, but for some weird reason, I can't make myself dive. Going into the water, hands on my face first, it's my worst nightmare. I can't stop thinking how horrible it would feel to have so much water going on my nose. I can swim underwater and pick up dive bars from the very bottom of the pool. I can jump in feet first and do a cannonball, but I simply cannot make myself dive. It is completely impossible. I must be the only kid in the world who is still in the same level of swimming lessons after 2 whole summers. I'll probably be in level 5 forever. Chapter 2. How to do a perfect dive. Okay, let's give Sarah a turn, Jeff suggests. Sarah is my 7-year-old cousin. She has been learning to swim since she was only 3 years old, and she isn't scared around the water. I'm pretty sure she is part fish. Every summer, we are in the same swimming level, even though I'm 2 years older than her. Sarah smiles and walks over to the edge of the pool. She raises her arms high above her red ponytail and points them into a V shape. She leans toward the water, then pushes up with her toes and slices neatly into the water. She does the impossible dive and comes back up smiling. Perfect, I think. I get into position again. I close my eyes and my mouth tightly, then bring my arms up straight. I put one hand on top of the other, making a triangle with my arms, and lean out over the water. I take a deep breath. I push myself forward and hit the water with all 4 limbs at once. I look like some kind of jellyfish, or maybe a crab. My belly flop makes a big splash that soaks everyone onto the pool deck. Sarah puts her hand over her mouth. She's trying not to laugh, but the other kids in our class aren't so polite. I swim slowly to the ladder. I climb back out and sit down on the bench. I'm too embarrassed to look at the other kids. When it's her turn, Sarah does a perfect forward roll into the water again. She comes back up and smiles proudly at Jeff. She isn't even trying to show off. It's just easy for her. When the lesson is over, Jeff gives Sarah her badge. He gives me a report card with a list of things Chris is still working on. I have a check mark for every section except kneeling dive and standing dive. I take a long, hot shower. I can't decide who I am more mad at, myself or Sarah. Not that it's her fault, but still. Chapter 3. Ready to give up. The next morning, I decide to bike down to the pool alone. Maybe this is the day I am finally able to do the impossible dive. The pool is quiet. There are some little kids and their parents in the shallow end. I walk to the other end. The deep end is very quiet. I choose a spot on the edge and get into position. Over in the corner, the lifeguard climbs down off his chair. He is blowing his whistle. He starts yelling at some kids, telling them it's dangerous to run in the pool deck. One of the girls slip and fall. She starts crying. Good. Now no one will notice me, I think. I near on the cement deck. I can feel the sun beating down on my neck. It feels like it is trying to push me into the water. It might be good if it did. I think I need a push. I rub my neck, then point my arms above my head and stare at my wavy reflection in the blue water. I close my eyes, but all I can see is Sarah's perfect dive. I try not to remember my stupid belly flop from yesterday. You can do this. You can do this, I say to myself. I sit down at the edge of the pool and take a deep breath. I can't do it. It's impossible. I'm glad Sarah isn't here. I should just go back home, but tomorrow is the last day of swimming lessons. It is my last chance to show Jeff I can dive, just like Sarah. Suddenly, I noticed an empty black inner tube in the middle of the pool. There was a little boy sitting on it just seconds before. I look all around, but the area of the pool is empty of people. I stare into the water, searching for the boy. I think I can see something under the tube. I jerk my head around as a woman behind me screams, "Mikey!" She is staring in the direction of the inner tube. I look at the lifeguard chair. He is still busy on the deck with the girl who fell. He is using the first aid kit. There is nobody else around, only me. What could I do? Chapter 4. Without thinking, without stopping to think, I yell, "Help, a boy is drowning." I call the lifeguard. I stand up and push myself onto the edge with my toes. I don't even think about being scared of diving. My dive helps me reach in the middle of the pool in seconds. Go under the tube and force myself to open my eyes. My goggles are back in the deck. The boy's eyes are closed, and he seems to be unconscious. He looks like he is doing the dead man's float. I try to hold onto one of the boy's arm, but it is slippery and difficult to hold onto. By this time, the lifeguard dives into the water and takes over. He grips the boy's thin arm tightly and pulls him up. The lifeguard is really quick. He takes the young boy and brings him to the surface. I follow and try to help, but the lifeguard knows what he is doing better than me. Chapter 5. Lover 6. Here I come. I cling to the edge of the pool, watching nervously as the lifeguard works over the boy. My arms are weak. Everybody at the pool is standing around watching silently. I climb out of the pool and crawl over to where the lifeguard is pushing on the small boy's chest. I'm breathing heavily. Please let him be okay, I think. After what feels like hours, the little boy coughs and a stream of water pours from his mouth. I smile and finally relax my breathing. Within a few minutes, it seems the boy is breathing well again. The lifeguard helps me get up. His mother kneels beside him, wraps her son in her arm. Oh, my baby, are you alright, Mikey? She is crying and hugging him. I feel sorry for Mikey. Poor kid looks scared and confused. He hides his face when he hugs his mother. I can't think of anything to say. Thank you so much for saving my baby, Mikey's mother says. No problem, I say easily, as the diving into the pool and rescuing people are something I do every day. You acted so quickly. You should think about becoming a lifeguard someday. Mikey's mother adds. The lifeguard pats me on the shoulder. Good work, he says. You are a hero. I grin and shrug my shoulders. Then I walk through the crowd back to the edge of the pool that he was stopping to near. I dive in. I slice cleanly through the water like an arrow. I don't know why I was so scared to dive before. It's easy. No more belly flops for me. I come up. Seconds later, the sound of applause. I look up and see Sarah looking through the chain link fence. She is sticking both her thumbs into the air. I smile, pick up my towel, and walk towards the change room. I can't wait to tell Sarah all about it. Maybe I will get out of Lover 5 after all.